When you walk into your garden in late August and find a spider, your hand probably moves before your brain does. You reach for a shoe, a hose, a clipper, anything. And 9 times out of 10, you've just killed the wrong one. Here's what nobody tells you. The spiders most gardeners destroy on site are the ones doing the majority of the pest control in their yard. The ones they leave alone are usually the actual problem. And most gardeners spend years quietly making their gardens worse, while thinking they're cleaning them up. One of these spiders has been doing something for your garden every summer you almost certainly haven't noticed. Once you see it, you'll never reach for a shoe the same way again. Let's start with the one almost everyone gets wrong. 1. The big zigzag web you've been knocking down. Have you ever pulled down a giant web with a black and yellow spider in the middle because the spider in it looked too big to leave alone? That's Argiopa aurantia, the yellow garden spider, and the white zigzag pattern stitched into her web has a name. It's called a stabilimentum, and entomologists at the University of Kentucky have studied it for decades. They believe it warns birds away from flying through the web. She's harmless to you. Her venom doesn't work on mammals. What it does work on is grasshoppers, leafhoppers, flies, mosquitoes, and the moths whose caterpillars eat your tomato plants. A single mature female consumes her own body weight in insects every few days. So when you knock down a stabilimentum web, you're not removing a threat. You're firing your pest control. And here's what's really hard to swallow. She chose your garden because it had the most prey. The bigger her web, the more your garden needed her. If you see a zigzag in a web, leave it. Walk around it. But she's not even the hardest worker in your yard. Number 2 is 2. The fast one that scares you when you lift a board. Ever lifted a flower pot or a piece of cardboard and watched a hairy, fast-moving spider scatter and felt your hand reach for something heavy? That's almost always a wolf spider. And the reason she's fast isn't because she's coming for you. It's because she's hunting on foot, all night, all summer. Wolf spiders don't build webs. They run prey down. Researchers at the University of Wisconsin documented that in agricultural plots, wolf spiders measurably reduced slug populations and significantly suppressed cutworms, the larvae that sever seedlings at the soil line right after you transplant them. If you've ever wondered why your seedlings survived this year and didn't last year, there's a good chance the answer was living under the flower pot you didn't crush. When you flip something over and see her, set it back down gently. She'll go back to work. But the next one is the spider almost nobody recognizes as a spider, and it might be the one your tomatoes need most. 3. The tiny one that hops at you on a leaf. Have you ever flicked a small, bouncy spider off a tomato leaf because it looked too weird to leave there? That was almost certainly a jumping spider. And jumping spiders are something almost no other spider in your garden is. A vision-based hunter. Studies at Cornell have shown that jumping spiders track prey with visual acuity unusual in invertebrates, comparable in some respects to a small mammal. They don't trap. They don't ambush. They stalk. And what they stalk is the smallest, most damaging pests you have. Aphids, one at a time. Leafhoppers, whiteflies. The specific insects that pock your peppers and curl your rose leaves and stunt your tomato fruit. Here's the habit. If you see something small that hops on a leaf, watch it for 10 seconds before you decide. If it turns to look at you, and it will, jumping spiders are one of the only invertebrates that visually orient on a human face. You'll know what you're looking at. It's not afraid of you. It's just curious. And it's hunting. And hey, if any of this is changing how you see what's living in your garden, hit like and subscribe. That's how we get this in front of more gardeners who actually want to know what's working for them. 4. The one pretending to be a piece of the flower. Have you ever pruned a flower and noticed something the exact same color as the petal and brushed it off like a bit of dead plant matter? That was a crab spider. They're ambush hunters, and they have the rare ability to slowly change color to match the flower they're hunting on. White on a daisy, yellow on a goldenrod, pink on a coneflower. Now, I won't lie to you, crab spiders will sometimes take a honeybee. They're not purely beneficial in the way the yellow garden spider is. But what they mostly take, flower thrips, blister beetles, small parasitic wasps that attack your fruit, outweighs the loss in almost every home garden where pollinator-friendly planting is happening. If you see one on a flower, leave it. The flower is its hunting blind. Brushing it off and saving the bees feels right. The data doesn't agree. But here's where most gardeners get it most wrong. The spiders we just talked about are ones you actually see. The next one is the one you see every morning, and don't recognize as a spider at all. 5. The funnel webs covering your lawn at dawn. Have you ever walked outside in the morning and seen your lawn covered in dewy sheet webs, each with a dark funnel at the backs, and immediately thought, I need to do something about this. Those are grass spiders, funnel weavers, and every one of those webs is a trap, and what they trap is the entire pest cycle that's been chewing the underside of your plants while you slept. Here's what nobody tells you. The webs aren't new. They were there yesterday. The dew is just making them visible for the first time. As soon as the sun burns the dew off, the webs vanish and the spider retreats into the grass to do it all again the next night. The habit here is the simplest one in this whole video. Don't spray. Don't rake. Wait an hour. The lawn looks normal again. The work continues. And now we get to the one that should change everything. 6. The lineage you almost ended. Have you ever wondered how that big orb web ends up in the exact same corner of your garden every August? Here's something most gardeners never figure out. It's not the same spider, it's her daughter, and often her granddaughter. Female orb weavers like the yellow garden spider lay an egg sac in late fall. The sac overwinters under leaves or against a stem. In spring, sometimes 1,000 spiderlings emerge and disperse on silk threads carried by the wind. Most don't survive, but the ones who do tend to settle near where they were born. Generation by generation, they relocate to sites their mothers hunted. That spider in your garden right now isn't a stranger. She is the third, fourth, sometimes fifth generation of her line living in the corner where you built that tomato bed. When you knock down her web in late August, you don't just end one summer of pest control, you end a lineage that has been quietly working for your garden for years. Now, to be clear, there are 2 spiders you should remove if you find them. The brown recluse, with the violin shape on its back, prefers cardboard boxes and undisturbed sheds. The black widow, with the red hourglass, prefers woodpiles and cool, dark places. Neither builds zigzag webs in your tomatoes. Neither hangs from your trellis. Neither hunts on your flowers. The ones in the garden, the ones gardeners have been killing for generations, were almost never these. So the next time you find a spider in your garden in late summer, before you reach for anything, just look. Most of them have been working for you for longer than you've been gardening that patch. They're not pests, they're the staff.